Well, good afternoon, everyone. We are in the CN Complex in Brossard for the second day of FPF Championship Flag Football. My name is Keon Cyrus, and I'm with.
Kwesi Mall.
And for this game, 1:15 starting time in Division E, we have the finals between the 13th seed STUDZ 2, as well as the number 10th seed Armed Robbery. So, Quasi, first off, what do you expect in this matchup between these two lower seed teams when you thought that maybe perhaps some of the top seeded teams would actually be in this position?
So I'm expecting a good game. Again, when you said that we do have two lower seed teams, higher seed teams depends how you're looking at it. But we have a 6-4 versus 6-4. So both teams didn't really finish as the top of the ladder. Usually you have a first seed versus a four seed, but instead we have a lot of upsets that happen during this division. So what I'm expecting is both teams kind of got their way to this path for where they are. So I think we should expect a really good game.
Yeah, for sure. So just looking at STUDZ 2, they came off as the 13th seed, so they never actually got a bye. They faced off TD Blitz, winning in a 36-31 contest. Their second matchup, which would have been the divisional round, they actually got the forfeit win over Gold Rush, who wasn't able to assemble a roster for that game. And then fortunately for them, they played my team, which was Sophomore Excel. They defeated us 40-25 in a matchup where they honestly played the most perfect flag football I've ever seen from most teams, and they upsetted us, but they honestly deserved it. To the semifinals, where they actually beat the number 2 seeded Reborn Prospects, who others thought that would be in the finals as well, with a score of 32-24. So with this road to the finals, how do you believe STUDZ 2 could manage the fact that they are seen as the underdog in basically every matchup? They got the forfeit win, and we talked about it just before we went on air. How does this affect the fact that maybe if they played Gold Rush, they might not have been here, but the fact that they are?
Yeah, so unfortunately they did get the win over Gold Rush. So maybe if that didn't happen, everything would have changed. But it's to the fact that STUDZ right now are playing really good football. During the quarterfinals, the semifinals, the divisional round, the quarterfinals, and semifinals, they've won every single game by double digits. So that's kind of something that you don't see as often, especially for a lower seed team where they kind of maybe struggle. They win a game by maybe 1 or 2, but they're balling out and they're kind of showing everyone why they're here. So hopefully they're going to be able to finish and kind of show everyone why they deserve a championship.
And for their opponents, Armed Robbery, they were a 10th seed, so they did get the first round bye. They ended up defeating Chomedy Chodes with a score of 43-14. Played against a talented Richter squad that headed with Jeremy Steinberg, won a close battle 20-18. And in the semifinals, they played Ayers University, who actually got to that point with a forfeit win in the quarterfinals, but defeated Ayers 32-27. So how do you find Armed Robbery's road to be in this position?
I feel like Armed Robbery also kind of had the same thing as the STUDZ. Right now, you see they finished the 10th seed, so they did have to play some of the top seeds, and they did a good job on winning. They didn't have exactly blowouts where they had double-digit wins, but they still won the game, and this is the reason why they're in the finals right now.
So we're about to start off the first play of the game. STUDZ 2 in the teal and Armed Robbery in black. At quarterback, you have Pierre-Olivier Bond-Lefebvre with the ball with the left hand, throwing it to number 18, Sean Rose, who wasn't able to catch the first pass of the game.
Yeah, so that was a good play call for them. They decided to do all hooks across the field and send a post, across the field. So they did all hooks and a post just to kind of get a feel of their offense. Unfortunately, it was a drop, but they right now they're going through. They have a good thing going.
So Pierre-Olivier with the snap, looking left, throwing it deep across the field, and it is almost picked off by Keon Dillon Smith. Target there was number 2, which would be Dimitri Melsbash, who seems to be the leader of the STUDZ 2 receiving corps, finishing the year with 27 receptions, 309 yards with 10 touchdowns, and in the postseason leads the team with 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, so right there they had a kind of trips to the left. They had 2 receivers going to the left, 1 guy going a fly. Unfortunately, he did a bad read. He kind of just threw the ball in the air. He's fortunate that did not get interception. He needs to kind of calm down and try to get a couple yards here on the third down.
So Pierre-Olivier with the snap, rolling left, and he throws it to number 18, Sean Rose, but it looks like that was defended by number 13, Mike Badibagbungi.
Yeah, so right now, STUDZ are not having the best start that they want. They're going to go on to a 4th and 10 with no completed passes, so they're going to have a really good play here if they want to convert a first down.
Do you agree with the fact that STUDZ 2, I know it's finals, but they haven't completed any passes and they're going for it on 4th this early?
Yeah, I think at this point you kind of have to get some momentum on your side. That's the reason why you're going to go for it.
And unfortunately, the ball was in the proximity of number 5, Philippe Savard, but it wasn't completed. So Armed Robbery gets the ball in very short field position at the 10-yard line of Studs 2.
Yeah, so again, really bad start for the Studs. Great starts for the Armory defense. Right now they had a 4-and-out stop. They're going to get the ball, I believe, at the 10-yard line going into the Studs red zone. So that if they're able to capitalize here, they could have a great start of this game.
So behind center for Armed Robbery is Mike Collard, who finished the year with 37 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, which is a bit high. But in the postseason, he has calmed that down a bit with 12 touchdowns and only 1 interception, with an impressive 72.5 completion percentage.
Yeah, he's playing great right now.
So it looks like George Zergiotis is under center. Mike Collard is waiting for the ball. Unfortunately, there's an overhead snap, but Collard does pick it up, throws it up in the back, and it is almost picked off by number 5, Philippe Savard. That play looked like almost a disaster from the get-go.
Yeah, so it was over the snap. It was over his head off the snap. I thought that was actually going to fall on the floor, but luckily he was able to kind of grasp it with one hand, brings it down. But by the time that he kind of was trying to set his foot, the rusher's in his face, so he kind of just threw it up, kind of like a prayer. He is fortunate didn't get interception because that definitely should have got picked off.
100%. And it looks like for Armed Robbery, there are only 6 at the moment. So it looks like these are the 6 that are going to be competing with to the end, unless someone comes a bit later. Caught by Dylan Smith, who gets tackled by, looks like by number 17, Alexandre Blanchette.
Yeah, so that was a good pass by Mike. He kind of a little easy hooks around the across the field. Got a completion here, I believe, for 4 to 5 yards. He also has to realize that he can't jump, so it's a good thing he got deflagged, because if he didn't get deflagged, they would have put the spot 5 yards back.
Exactly.
So he has to watch out on his jumping there.
Yeah, so it's third down. They're at the 5. Mike takes the snap, is looking right to number 21, and is caught for a touchdown. Alex Spina.
Yeah, so that was a good route. He had the other Mike kind of do a go, and then Sapina to do a quick out, and end up opening up the field, being kind of not wide open, but a bit contested. But he was able to get the ball in his hands, and we have 6-0 to start off this game.
So it looks like Armed Robbery is going for 1, which has seemed to be their bread and butter throughout the season. Alex Spina leads the team in 1-point conversions with 6. So even though he just caught the touchdown, he might be someone to look at when it comes to these convert plays.
Yeah, a lot of the times when teams are going for 1, it's because they feel really comfortable going for 1. So that's why we're seeing
Collard
it here.
takes a drag for number 11, Julian Posteriero, but unfortunately is deflagged before he reaches the end zone. So Studs 2 takes the ball back with a 6-0 deficit. Where do you see Studs 2 coming up now? They had 4 straight incompletions, and now they really just have to kind of get the ball moving now.
Yeah, I think they need to catch the ball. In the first 4 passes they had, I believe they had about 2 to 3 drops. So they kind of have to clean that up. Let's start with maybe all hooks, get the ball into one of your receivers' hands, and just let them do some things.
It looks like that was the right play call from you, Kwesi. Pierre-Olivier found number 2, Dimitri Melzabash, with the catch, and looked like he got some extra yards after, and it was tackled by Mike Baribaba.
Yeah, so that's exactly what the Studs came out with. They did, I believe it was from the wideouts, 10-yard hooks, from the slots, 5 yards, and then the snap did a 5-yard hook as well. The wideout ended up being wide open, caught the ball, and got about like 20 yards after.
So you have trips to the left, Pierre-Olivier rolling left, throws it, but is incomplete. Target was number 0, Matthew Limoges, but it looked like there was almost a throwaway instead of the sack.
I believe it is a sack.
Oh, it actually was a sack.
Yeah, I believe it was a sack. That was a great defensive call by Armed Robbery. Studs had a trip to the left side, and they covered it literally perfectly where where Studs had no one to throw the ball to, and that's the reason why they got a sack here.
So second down now, Pierre-Olivier with the ball. Looking deep, he has a man open, and it is caught by number 0. Touchdown, Mathieu Limoges, 6-6 tie.
Yeah, so that's literally the first play they ran to start off the game. They did hooks all around and then a post across the field. He didn't go for the post the first play, but this time he had maybe kind of realized that it was there, and he ended up throwing a dot to his receiver. And he threw a dot to his receiver and got a touchdown.
That was a great ball by Pierre Olivier. Honestly, getting the rest of the first few snaps of the game. So he rolls out left for the conversion, and unfortunately, it is dropped by Dimitri Mel's bash.
Yeah, right now the studs are gonna have to realize that they can't be dropping any balls here. Armed Robbery is a team where you don't want to give them those easy drops, and even though it's a 1 point convert, at the end of the day, that 1 point convert could be the reason why you lose the game or win the game.
So Armed Robbery is going to start the ball on offense once again, this time from their own 10. These two teams actually played each other in earlier in the season on July 13th, where Armed Robbery beat STUDZ 33-20. In that game, it was actually tied at half, but Armed Robbery took over in the second half, outscoring STUDZ 2 with the score of 19-6.
Oh.
The second. And that one, oh boy, we might have a perhaps injury there.
Yeah, so Mike just did a quick out to his slot out receiver number 21.
That looks like Alex Bina, the rusher, actually.
Yeah, and he just kind of had a bad turn he had a bad turn coming down, and I believe it's to his right knee right now that they're going to be looking at.
And for Armed Robbery, this is probably the last thing you need, as you don't have any subs. You only have 6 players to start the game off, and if especially your rushers getting hurt, and with Alex Bina, a great season finishing with 11 sacks in the regular season, with 4 sacks in the postseason.
Yeah, so that's the problem when you go into a finals game, especially a finals game, and you only have 6 players. The last thing you want is someone to come down, and then you end up only having 5 because you don't want to be playing 5 versus 6.
Yeah, for sure. We're hoping that Alex Bina is okay, but for Armed Robbery, it looks like at least now Alex Bina will need to take at least a few drives or plays off at least to kind of get his footing, unless he's fully capable of. Yeah, it's tough for him to walk right now.
Yeah, I think he kind of buckled his knee. It seems like he buckled his knee, and usually when that happens, it's like your knee kind of turns in a bit, and it's like that awkward feeling. So I think right now he's kind of he's getting helped off.
Yeah.
We can see. So we're gonna sometimes maybe it's just I'm not exactly. I mean, sometimes it's kind of like you kind of just need to rest, kind of have it lie down a bit and kind of see if it gets better.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna kind of have to keep a watch on that to see if he's gonna be coming back in this game or not.
Yeah, so if you're Armed Robbery at this point, you lose your rusher, but on offense now you're playing 5v6. How do you kind of deal with that in a 6-6 tie this early in the game?
You slow down the game. At the end of the day, Armory does have that one stop, right? So they do get the possession and they get the ball back in the second half. So what you kind of want to do is that you want to make sure that you either end the half with the ball and score, or make sure the studs do not score. Because if you go into the half being up by 6, getting the ball back in the second half, you could get a 2-possession game. And usually when you have a 2-possession game, your chances of winning are pretty high.
So Mike Holland with the snap, takes it, looking, throwing to the outside to Mike, who is tackled quickly by number 0, Mathieu Limoges.
Yeah, so great call from Mike. Great call from Mike to Mike. That duo's actually been really crazy. I kind of watched a few of their games this season, and he's one of his go-to receivers whenever he needs something big. So right there, again, there are only 5 guys. He kind of tells everyone, guys, we're all gonna do our hooks. Mike gets wide open, throws the ball to him, and he actually gets a few yards back from that.
So Collard with the snap, rolling right to Dylan Smith, who makes a good catch and is tackled quickly by number 5, Philippe Savard.
Yeah, so again, Armed Robbery just doing little things. You know, they don't want to do anything too crazy. Keep the ball in their hands, get the completions going, keep the momentum going, because that's something they're going to definitely need. The biggest issue is when you get incompletes and you're also low on a guy. You don't want anyone kind of turning at each other. You want to stay together. So, the best way for you to do that is continue the completions and just keep the chains going.
So it looks like Zergiotis is ready to snap the ball to Mike Collard.
We got a 3rd down here.
Collard with the snap. Zergiotis with a quick out to the right, and it's quickly tackled by number 0, Limoges.
Yeah, so we have a great 1st down here. So exactly, again, Armed Robbery, keep doing what you're doing right now. Keep moving the chains, nice and easy. Also, you're killing some clock too. It's going to be maybe clock against you. You want to make sure that studs, when they do get the ball, they don't have that much time to score. And you want to keep the possession in your hands for most of this game.
But what do you do if you're studs? You have the advantage with the extra player, so how would you defend this? Caught
Um,
by Dylan Smith, and is tackled by number 17, Alexandre Blachette.
to be honest with you, I think I would just go man to man across the field and just have a safety over top. If anyone ends up blowing up over the top, or you kind of play like a corner lock with your corners, so they play very tight, and also just have a three guy playing over top.
Yeah.
Right now, I feel like the studs are kind of playing a bit off. That's why they're giving the easy comebacks to the wideouts.
Yeah, it's not up. It wasn't up to them to play 5v6 at this point, but there's a championship on the line. So let's see if Studs 2 does put up the pressure with the extra man on the field. So Collard takes the snap, looking left. First read isn't there. Throws it to Mike, who is deflagged as soon as he catches the ball by Limoges.
Yeah, that looked kind of a bit like an early deflag, but again, great pass from Mike to Mike, good catch. Sorry, great pass to Mike. Yeah, Mike to Mike.
Mike.
Yeah, good catch on them. I believe they gained about like 4 or 5 yards there, and they're getting closer and closer. I think we're looking at a second. No, I think third right now.
Third and like 2-ish, third and 3.
Yeah, they also get a first down as well too. They're just above the touchdown.
Yeah. So more than likely, Studs 2 might be playing lanes, and you have Mike ISO'd on the right side. Mike, as quarterback, takes the ball, looking at the corner to George Zergiotis for the touchdown, and takes the lead for Armed Robbery.
Yeah, so they're again great play call for them. Studs are gonna have to make an adjustment. Right now they have an extra man on the field. They're gonna have to realize that we can't give anything outside. You want everything to be the inside. You don't want to You don't want any passes from the outside because right now Mike is feeling comfortable throwing the ball to the outside to the receivers. So you're gonna want guys to play a bit tighter and try to close off those gaps and let him do something he's not comfortable doing.
That was honestly a flawless drive by Armed Robbery, considering the fact that they lost one of their players at the very beginning. But for Studs 2, the game's not over. We have just over 8 minutes left. This 1-point convert does seem to be pivotal, as points might be scarce in this, especially with Armed Robbery potentially slowing the ball down.
Yeah, exactly. This is a big convert for them.
So it looks like Mike to the corner, and it's caught by number 11, Julian Postarero, for the 1-point conversion.
Yeah, that was a great catch, great play calling. To be honest, as you said it, that was a great drive by Armed Robbery. One of their players go out instead of kind of panicking. They kind of get things under control. Mike takes control, gets the ball, gets all his receiver of the catches. I don't think they had one incomplete there. So great drive by them. Now their defense is going to try to have to make a stop. Lots of teams are not used to playing 5 versus 6, so let's see what they have under their hat here.
So it looks like Dylan Smith is going to be the rusher. He is a great coverage guy, so it does unfortunately take one of their best coverage guys away from playing defense.
Yeah, but one thing you also do have to say is that he's fast, right?
Yeah.
So he's going to get to the quarterback fast. He's not going to have as much time as he would want to have.
Yeah, Pierre-Olivier throws it, and it's not caught by Sean Rose. Looked like he either didn't expect it, and it was not. He had one hand on it, where that should have been a simple two-handed catch.
Yeah, again, studs are in. They have to kind of get. One thing they have to start doing is they have to catch the ball. I think that's the 4th or the 5th drop. They're very lucky that did not go up in the air and get picked off by Armed Robbery.
Yeah, Pierre-Olivier with the ball. He is looking left, throws it to Mathieu Limoges, who gets a bit of yards there with the spins, and is tackled by Mike Collard and Mike Baribabungi, but not before the first.
Yeah, so we got a double tackle by the Mikes, but again, we have a gain about like 20 yards there. So there you go, the studs, nice little easy completion, all hooks again. Quarterback was able to find the wide open receiver. He's able to get some yak yards, and if the studs continue what they're doing, it's gonna work. You know, they're one less guy, so a lot of zones inside the defense should be wide open.
So it looks like Studs 2 is in trips. Pierre-Olivier with the ball rolls right, looks left, throws it to number 5, Philippe Savard, who gets by with missed tackles and is tackled by Mike inside roughly maybe the 5.
Yeah, so that was a good play call for them. They went trips left. They went trips left. They had a receiver come underneath. He kind of just dumped the ball. Receiver made a move, got a couple yards here, and they're driving. One thing the studs are going to have to do is that they're going to have to tackle. I know you guys are one man less, but that's not the reason to miss any tackles.
Yeah, for sure. So we're under 6 minutes left. Studs 2 is down by 6 or 7, but they're at around the 4-yard line. Pierre-Olivier is waiting for the signal, takes the snap, rolls left, has a wide open man in Dimitri Melsbash for the short touchdown, 1 point away from tying the game.
Yeah, so that was a good play call. They went trips right over there. They end up trying to attack Mike on the corner on the left side. They try to attack. Well, we have two Mikes, one as the halfback, one as the corner. But they attacked the corner on the left side, and what they kind of did was try to kind of get him off to get him off the front of the end zone. They're able to target the number 2 receiver wide open for a touchdown. This is a big convert over here, going for 1.
Yeah, exactly. So to tie the game, Pierre-Olivier takes a snap, looking at his receivers, has number 5, but it was overthrown, picked off by Dylan Smith, who tries to run it back, but is tackled quickly by Philippe Jelena.
Yeah, so again, I think that was just a missed ball. He had he had 2 receivers on the right side wide open. He ended up kind of just overthrowing it over the top, and Armed Robbery was able to pick off the convert and get tackled. But again, right now we're looking at a 13-12 game. Armed Robbery, to be honest with you, if they could just run this clock down to the last few seconds and score a touchdown, they're going to be in a great position. Studs are going to have to do something special on defense here to try to get a turnover and get the ball back in their hands before the halftime is over.
Yeah, because on our clock we have just over 4 minutes. Mike takes the ball, throws it to other Mike, tries to make a defender miss, but is quickly tackled by Mathieu Limoges.
So right there again, Studs are going back to the same play. They're doing hooks from the corners, from the wideouts, and then the inside are kind of pushing more inside. Studs are going to have to play tighter underneath, maybe play a high safety over the top, both corners, and let the corners come down and let the halfbacks kind of drop and then spy the middle. But they're definitely going to have to change something because right now that was a gain of 5 yards and the time is clicking. So one thing you do not want to do is you don't want Armory to run the clock to the end and have the last possession here.
So you have Mike Collard waiting for the snap. He takes it, looks left, doesn't have his first read. Rusher is right there, and he evades him, throws it to Dylan Smith, who's wide open in the middle, is able to use his speed, and he is deflagged to the point that his flags explode.
Yeah, his whole flag kind of just came apart there. But again, to be honest with you, that's actually a good flag for Armory. They don't want to score. You don't want to score right now. You want to keep using the clock. So, unfortunately, he did get a lot of yards there. But I would have wanted maybe 5 or 10 yards back so you have a possible first down. Because right now the first down it's retainable, but it's at the 1. So it's kind of like Armory has 4 downs right now to score, but there's still about 2:40, about 3 minutes left in this half.
Exactly, and the clock is winding under 3 minutes now, and they're just outside the 10-yard line.
But again, great job by Mike by avoiding the rush. That should have been a sack as well, but he ended up avoiding the rush maybe 2 or 3 times, and then he was able to find a wide open receiver.
So Mike Collard is waiting for the snap.
Got first down.
He takes it, and it looks like, and he is sacked by number 18, Sean Rose.
Yeah, so that was a good rush from Sean Rose. He kind of just went at him, stuck out his hands, grabbed his flag, got the sack. Again, I don't not like that. It does kill a lot of clock. Unfortunately, Mike did lose about like 5 or 6 yards there, so now it's gonna they have 3 plays to score to go 16 yards, which is doable. It's not that bad. I would have rather if Mike got sacked at the line of scrimmage instead of being 5 yards back. Yeah. But again, the time is clicking. The time is going down.
Exactly. Collard takes a snap, throws it deep, and it's overthrown for his name twin in Mike Badibabungi.
Yeah, so Mike actually had a number, I believe it was 21 wide open on I think it was, he did an out. I feel like he should have probably went there instead of trying to go for, not like a Hail Mary, but instead of going for Mike over the top. I feel like but I'm not sure if it was 4 or it was 17 coming across the field. But if he was able to get the ball to them, he would have got maybe 4 or 5 yards. You never know, maybe a missed tackle, maybe a bit more yards, and the time would have kept going. Now the time is stopped on a 2-minute warning.
Yeah, Collard takes a snap, looking for Dylan Smith, and it is not picked off by number 5, Philippe Savard, who did have the ball in his hands there.
Yeah, again, Studs, it's to a point where you guys are not catching balls, and also you guys are not catching interceptions. That's 2 right now that they could have had picked off, and fortunately, one hand on the ball is not going to cut it.
So it looks like actually for Studs too, Pierre-Olivier is playing safety as he is more backed up than the rusher, number 79.
Yeah, so they are playing a deep safety in the middle of the field, kind of saying like, "Don't you're not throwing the ball here. I'm just kind of gonna keep backing up," and that's literally what he's been doing since it's been 5-on-6.
So what do you do if you're armed robbery at this point?
I think you do a concept where you do maybe a post and a wheel,
Yeah,
something to kind of like get one of the studs' eyes off away.
yeah, Collard looks deep for Dylan Smith, and it's not picked off by Mathieu Limoges, but it is an incompletion.
Yeah, so right there they did double post by both the receivers. I feel like a post wheel probably would have been better because you would have had maybe a one-on-one with your probably your best receiver versus one of their best DBs, and you rather have a one-on-one compared to like a 2-on-1 or just in the ball into traffic.
Yeah, so that was actually fourth down. So with a minute 35 left on the clock, Pierre-Olivier takes the snap from Philippe Jalina with over 135 left on the clock.
Yeah, so right now Armed Robbery's gonna have to try to stop them and get tackles.
He throws it left across field, and it's incomplete by Sean Rose, but Dylan Smith was there for the coverage.
Yeah, there you go. Sean Rose had the ball right in his hands, and he ended up dropping it. Studs want to win this game. They're gonna have to clean up. They're gonna have a really good, clean second half. And they're fortunate that Armed Robberies only have 5 players right now because I feel like if they had 6, the score would be. I feel like if they had 6, the score wouldn't be what it is right now.
So it looks like they also switch rushers for Julian Pastorero for armed robbery. Pierre-Olivier takes a snap. He looks at a corner and is defended by Dylan Smith, who, if that ball was a bit lower, I think that would have been a pick six.
Yeah, so again, they went all hooks kind of deep. He did take his time, but he has to realize the longer you take, it makes it easier for a defender to kind of read your eyes. And right there, that's literally what Smith did.
Yeah, even on the replay, you can see Blanchet clapping his hands because he was open there early on, but Pierre-Olivier took a bit too much time there, which allowed Dylan Smith for the big breakup.
Yeah. So right now you have trips to the right side.
Yeah, looks like third down. Looking for the drag. It's caught by number 17, Blanchet, who was quickly tackled by Mike Collard.
Yeah, so that was a great play call from the Studs. They had to kind of get something going. They went trips right. They brought a slant coming across the field for about 6-7 yards. One thing, it's like kind of good for both sides, right? You have the Studs getting a manageable fourth, and you have Armed Robbery wasting some of the clock.
So it looks like fake the handoff and it throws to Philippe Jelena, who I don't know if he's hurt there because he is holding on to his right arm, not before he made the catch for the first.
Yeah, it seems like something's wrong. It seems like there's might be something wrong with his right arm. I think he's gonna come off right now.
Yeah.
One of his number 5 is gonna come in for them. But again, the time is running right now, so they're not running the clock, but
It should be running because of the fact that it was a first down inbounds.
yeah, exactly. So I think there should be about 35 seconds left.
Pierre-Olivier looks like he's going to run, passes it to number 5, Philippe Savard, who gets by with missed tackles, and it's tackled inside the 5 by Dylan Smith.
Yeah, so again, Armed Robbery is definitely going to have to get those tackles. They gave an extra 4 or 5 yards for the Studs, and that's something they cannot afford. They literally can't let the Studs score here. They want to go into halftime being up 1 and having the ball to start the second half.
Exactly. For Studs 2 now, they are looking to take the lead. Clock is running. Pierre-Olivier with the snap. Looking right, reading is not there. Finds number 2, Dimitri Melbash, for the touchdown and for Studs 2 to take the lead.
Yeah, so the quarterback had way too much time there. I understand that Smith is one of your best defenders, but he's probably one of your fastest guys. So maybe coming towards the red zone, you want to switch the ref to someone that's a bit faster because there's less field to kind of cover compared to being when you're maybe midfield is where Smith is kind of can maybe excel a bit more because he's able to have more ground.
So it's a 5-point lead, and it looks like Studs 2 is going for the conversion. They send a second quarterback back, gets back to Pierre-Olivier, and he has number 17 that's picked off by Dylan Smith, who is running back for the 2-point convert, who stumbles, unfortunately doesn't get it. But I think there was a receiver open on the left side there.
Yeah, there were so many wide open wide receivers there. I think he kind of rushed that throw. He could have waited. He probably could have waited a couple of days, to be honest with you. How the Armed Robbery wasn't even rushing their guy. They could have kept going back and forth, rotating back and forth because I don't think Armed Robbery was gonna send a second rush.
Yeah. So with 30 seconds left on our clock, Armed Robbery down by 5. basically get out of bounds, right?
Yeah, so they have about 30 seconds to score here. Again, this is they just don't want you don't want to throw interception.
Exactly.
Don't give the ball back to the studs. Don't give them
Oh,
anything
Collard's
easy.
going deep, and it's caught by Mike Badby Bungie inside the 5. Nearly a touchdown there. It was tackled by Mathieu Limoges just short of the end zone.
Yeah, so that was a great play call by Mike. It's also unfortunate that the Studs are playing one deep safety. He ends up getting beat over the top. That's something that cannot happen. You're playing 5v6. There's no reason why you should get beat over the top, especially when there's only 30 seconds left in the game and you know they're trying to score. So that's something that Studs are probably going to have to make an adjustment in the second half and kind of talk about. But you have Armed Robbery with a first down right now, first down, and they're able to get an error first as well. So
Yeah.
oh no, sorry, they're not. They're at the
They're at the like 2.
they're at the 2-yard line. Yeah, okay.
So Collard takes a snap, looks quickly to George Zergiotis, who the ball is tipping, and it's picked off by number 5, Philippe Savard, after it must have been in 4 different pair of hands there.
Yeah, so that's a very bad bounce for Armed Robbery, and it's a great bounce for the Studs because that definitely should have been an easy touchdown for them.
Yeah, it looks like Zergiotis was there, but unfortunately, Mike was also there. It kind of teammates bumped into each other in friendly fire.
Do you think he secured the ball before the ball got tipped in, before the ball got bumped out of his hands?
I don't think so, just for the fact that his own teammate bumped into him that quick, because it was a very short route. It would have had to been, it could have been something they've been challenged for, but it looks like Armed Robbery is going to go safe with it and just keep their timeout. So Pierre-Olivier takes a snap. He's looking deep, throws it deep, and it is dropped by Dimitri Melbach on the last play of the half, ending it with a 18-13 lead for Armed Robbery.
Yeah, he was wide open over there. If he just kind of
Or for STUDZ, my apologies.
Yeah, so that play he was wide open there. If he just kind of maybe kept running, had 2 hands on the ball, they definitely could have converted a touchdown there, and they could have went up by 11 instead of being up by 5 right now going into the second half.
So unfortunately, with the injury to Alex Spina, for Armed Robbery, they're playing 5v6. So what have you seen from Armed Robbery that has been working well? They get ball back second half.
Yeah, so I'm right here. They're doing a great job right now. The fact that they are playing a 6 versus 5, they're kind of making sure they're not doing anything. They're not rushing anything. They're staying composed. They're getting all the hooks done, all the drags. They're running their play calling that they're used to doing. That's something that they're going to have to continue doing. They can also have to make sure they stay together. One of the biggest problems when you are playing a 5 versus 6, or when things are not going your way, you start kind of turning your back on other guys if they're not doing well things on certain drops, on certain routes and stuff like that. So Armed Robbery right now, just keep doing what you're doing. You guys are only down by 5 points, but you get ball starting second half. So they have to come out firing, get a good drive, score a touchdown, and take back the lead.
So with STUDZ 2, we've talked about obviously with the drops that's been going on, but what else should they be kind of focusing on to contain this lead towards the second half?
So STUDZ pretty much, again, as we said before, the drops are going to be something that they're going to have to clean up. But again, also their coverages, they're making it a bit too easy for Armed Robbery to get easy completions. Maybe play a bit of more crossing zones, a bit more man-to-man. And if you have someone that's playing about 10 to 15 yards deep, or I think he's about maybe 8-9 yards deep, make sure you don't get beat over top, because that's something that you do not want to happen. It's kind of the main reason why you're playing a deep safety, 10 yards deep. There's no reason why a post should come across the field and end up catching the ball on you. They're very fortunate that Armed Robbery did throw an interception there on the tip drop in the air, because that should have been a touchdown for Armed Robbery.
So quickly before we go into the second half, it's a 5-point lead with Armed Robbery getting the ball back down by 5. What is one thing you expect from both teams in this second half?
I'm hoping I'm hoping STUDZ kind of clean up on their catches. I think that's something that, unfortunately, that if they clean up on that, they're going to take this game away very easily. A lot of their drops could have been easy first downs and made it so much easier for the quarterback. And also they dropped a couple picks as well too. Again, they did a great job on that tip drill to get that interception, but they dropped two picks on the first drive and I think the third or fourth drive that they could also capitalize on it. So I'm hoping for them they kind of fix that. And then for Armed Robbery, I just think they just have to keep doing what they're doing.
Exactly. With a down by 5 deficit, is there any players from Armed Robbery do you expect to kind of maybe have a bigger role in the second half, especially if Alex Pina is ruled out for the rest of the game?
I think everyone has to have a bigger role. I think everyone has to step up. I think everyone has to do a bigger job. Right now, as we said before, it's 6 versus 5. Someone has to be and not someone, everyone has to be a better player if they want to win this game.
And for STUDZ 2, is there anyone in particular, whether it could be Pierre-Olivier at quarterback, it could be Dimitri Melbash, who has a touchdown already? Is there anyone that you find that could make an impact or should be making an impact at this point?
I would say it has to be that just that studs defense. I think anyone that touches that ball in their hands as a defensive player needs to get the interception.
Looks like we are ready to get back on the field in the second half. We are here in Brossard. I'm Keon Size with Kwesi Gordon Mall. We have the Division E finals between Armed Robbery and STUDZ 2. The score is 18 for STUDZ 2 and 13 for Armed Robbery. Armed Robbery has the ball starting the second half. Unfortunately, their rusher, Alex Pina, got injured with a knee injury. Looks like he has ice on his leg, and I don't think he's going to come back for the rest of this game.
Yeah, usually when you get ice in your leg, it means you're pretty much done for the day. So Armed Robbery's going to have to roll with 5 guys here and try to win a championship with 5 guys.
Hey, things have happened in FPF and in the sports world, so they have the ball in the second half, which is what they needed. So let's see what they come up with to open up the second half. So it looks like Mike Badabubungi has the ISO on the right side. Mike Collard takes a snap, throws it to other Mike. That is tackled by Mathieu Limoges quickly, not before maybe 2 yards.
Yeah, so again, Armed Robbery's coming out with what they did starting the game. Nice little quick little hooks. Mike broke his route a bit earlier to make sure that he was wide open catching the ball, and he got 2 yards. But again, 2 yards is better than 0 yards. So at the end of the day, good first play.
Yep. And for STUDZ 2, they still have Pierre-Olivier playing as safety over top. That might be something that Armed Robbery is going to look at. But again, things have been working underneath as well. So let's see with Collard with the snap. Looking left to Dylan Smith, who's running a drag. He catches it and is not tackled right away. And he's running up the sideline to the end zone for a touchdown for Armed Robbery to take the lead 19-18. What a run by Dylan Smith, evading the defenders of STUDZ 2.
Yeah, so the Studs actually had a good coverage there. They were kind of waiting for the drag to come. When Smith did catch the ball, Studs just missed about 3 tackles by the time he scored a touchdown. So again, great play calling from Armed Robbery, because if Smith did get tackled right away, it would have been a gain of 4 or 5 yards. And horrible attacking from the Studs, because they could have had a third, maybe 3 instead of having a trying to stop a convert right now.
And we have talked about Dylan Smith potentially as a speed on defense, especially as rusher, but he shows it there on offense with that nice, maybe 38-yard touchdown. So it looks like they're going for 1. Mike Collard with the snap. Looking left, isn't there, throws it to Mike Badabubungi, and it's picked off by number 0, Mathieu Limoges, who is running across field. And there is a flag there once he got deflagged. So it looks like the convert isn't good, and I think it might have been perhaps flag guarding. But
yeah, it seems like it was flag guarding. But at the end of the day, even if it was holding, it wasn't last man back. So it's either would have been 5 yards up, but I believe it was flag guarding there.
yeah, so still with the touchdown the Armed Robbery gets from Dylan Smith. They're up 1.
Yeah, so they take the lead. They're up 19-18. So great start for the Armed Robbery for a team that's only 5 guys right now.
Yep, so Pierre-Olivier is taking a snap, looking left, pump fakes, throws it deep to number 2, and it's overthrown to Dimitri Melbash, who looked like he might have had a step there, but it would have been a tight window anyways there.
Yeah, so he was actually gaining leverage on Mike. They ended up running a post delay go on the left side over here, where Mike kind of had to bail, take the post, and they had the other Mike, the quarterback Mike, going with the go. So if that ball was a bit more inside and a bit more laid out, it probably would have been a touchdown, but unfortunately he kind of overthrew it and out of bounds.
So it looks like STUDZ 2 is in trips with Dimitri Melback with the ISO on the left. Takes a snap. There is a drag by number 5, Philippe Savard, who makes the catch and is not tackled, deflagged until Mike Badabubungi makes the tackle way later than it should have been.
Yeah, so instead of being a gain of about 10 yards, it's a gain of 20. One thing that's, again, great play call from the Studs. At the end of the day, take what the defense is giving you. Something about Armed Robbery now, I think they do need to switch their rush. The rusher they have right now, he can't get there, and it's giving too much time for the Studs. I know they don't want to put Smith in since he's one of your best coverage guys, but you might have to make that switch.
Yeah, we're going to see how that goes later with Pierre-Olivier taking a snap. Throws it over top to Philippe Savard, who reaches in for the touchdown. Studs 2 reclaims the lead. They're up by 5 now.
Yeah, so they just picked the right zone there. End up the fact that Smith kind of has to respect the deep. He's about 10 to 15 yards deep, and they just kind of had the receiver come right underneath in the middle, about 8 yards. Easy catch, non-contested, was able to walk in the end zone. And right now they're up 24 to 19. So they're up by 5. So this is a big. I believe they're going for. Oh, they're going for 2.
Yeah, they're going for 2 to make it a 7.
Yeah, they want to go up by 7. I think they should go for 1 here to kind of tie it, just in case Armed Robbery does score. But they do have the 2 quarterback system going. Yeah.
Limoges is back, throws it back to Pierre-Olivier. He has a flag is thrown on Dimitri Melbach, who was the intended target. It looks like it was George Zerkiotis who might have had contact early there.
Yeah, so he kind of grabbed this arm a bit, and they're kind of play tagging a bit, but I think it was a bit unnecessary for the DB for what he did there. So Studs are going to get 5 yards up. They're going to be able to go for 2 from the 5.
And we talked about it early in the first half when they're dropping 2 guys back. Again, Mathieu Limoges is open on the wide side because Armed Robbery cannot really afford sending a second rusher.
Yeah, exactly. So he does have all time to throw there. Again, that throw was it wasn't the widest open. It wasn't the widest wide receiver there open. So fortunately, they are lucky that they did get a flag there. I feel like it could have went 50-50.
Yeah, so it looks like Pierre-Olivier takes a snap 4-2 at the 5, and it's tipped by Mike Collard, and then number 17, Alexandre Blanchette, isn't able to reach it for the 2-point convert on the 5.
Yeah, so great read by Mike, kind of undercutting that route that was coming. If he actually looked, instead of looking on the left side, he looked on the right side. I think he ran the same play both sides. The right side, the receiver is wide open, kind of just looking at him. And was literally looking at him, trying to, like, I'm not sure if he was. I don't think he was waving his hands, but he had a wide open receiver there that if he threw the ball to him, they could have ended up converting the convert.
So I know we've talked about Alex Pina being injured, but number 1, Philippe Gerena, who's actually the center for this STUDZ 2 offense, is not really playing much offense. He's playing defense, but you could tell he's lingering with that right arm being injured.
Yeah, so it seems like his right arm. I don't know if he can move it or it's.
Yeah, and that is called by Zerkiotis for, I think, just short of a first down. But yes, for Gerena, it looks like he can't really move that arm. So even when it comes to tackling, he only has really one arm, or it looks like it might be painful to tackle with that right arm.
Yeah, it seems like maybe it's stiff or it's a bruise or it's something that's kind of holding him to keep his right arm inside his lower body right now. So
Mike Collard takes the snap, looking right to Mike Badabibungi, who makes the catch off a missed tackle and is going to the end zone for a touchdown for Armed Robbery to take a 1-point lead. Missed tackles galore. That honestly shouldn't have been a touchdown, but great on Mike for playing through the whistle, getting past the defenders, and for STUDZ 2, you can't be making these mistakes, especially when you have an extra man on the field.
Yeah, right now they can't be missing tackles. It's the same thing, right? You had Smith that kind of did the drag, ended up scoring a 30-yard touchdown. Now you got Mike that did a kind of like a hook, I believe, and he ended up scoring a touchdown too. I believe they're both about 30 yards, so Studs have to kind of clean up their tackling here. They had an issue on catching the ball for interception. Now they have an issue on making tackles. So something's gonna have to be done. There's 12 minutes left. They're gonna have to fix. Some things up.
Yeah. So Mike Collard is taking a snap. They're going for 1 point. Armed Robbery to take a 2-point lead. He looks right to Mike. Unfortunately, it's overthrown. On the touchdown, though, it looks like Mathieu Limoges did try to overstep and try to jump the pass, but because he didn't, that left such a gap behind the STUDZ 2 defense, which allowed Mike to actually run the field and score.
Yeah, so that's exactly what happened. He kind of came down on that route, ended up not making the play. But again, as for the Studs, you have to rally. You can't really. Sometimes you can't rely on your player to make that play. Just have his back, and unfortunately, that they did not have his back that time.
So it looks like Gerena is snapping, but you can tell he's lingering. Pierre-Olivier takes the ball. He is hit as he is thrown. It's picked up by Zerkiotis, but Julian Postarero definitely hit his arm there on the release. So that will definitely be a penalty on him.
Yeah, that was definitely roughing the passer. He had his hands up, and when the quarterback was about to throw the ball, he kind of came down, and that's the reason why they're calling this as a roughing the passer.
Yeah, so even though on the release of it, The rusher was definitely in the vicinity of the quarterback and made contact. But look, now Jelena is snapping. But again, even when he's running routes, it doesn't look like he's really there to be much of a threat, but rather a decoy. But is that almost like, do you rather have your snapper there if even if he's not gonna look like he's gonna catch the ball?
It depends if Armed Robbery kind of reads off of that. If they kind of realize like, yo, this guy is not even gonna catch a ball, it's to a point where you kind of even don't even cover him. If he does catch the ball, he catches it, but I would kind of just leave him alone and let him do whatever he wants. Snap the ball, run your hook, and just no one go on him. Play anywhere else on coverages for Armed Robbery.
So on the last play, Pierre-Olivier found Philippe Savard that was tackled by Dylan Smith just short of the marker. 2nd and 1 with just over 10 minutes left. STUDZ 2 is down by 1. Pierre-Olivier takes a snap. 2 number 0, Mathieu Limoges, and it's tackled by Mike Collard or Mike Badiba Bungi
Yeah, so
for the first.
You have both the Mikes kind of coming around the ball there after it's being caught. But again, Mike Collard kind of came down on the snapper, where it's the point where you don't even cover him. Maybe act like you're covering him and then push out, get to an air zone. Because I don't know if he's able to catch it. Well, I don't think he's not going to be able to catch the ball with one hand over there the way he's playing right now.
Yep, so Pierre-Olivier takes a snap, rolls left, looking for Mathieu Limoges, but the ball was low there, making it 2nd and goal at roughly the 6 in the red zone.
Yeah, so again, it was a missed throw. He had this wide receiver wide open for a touchdown, so he's going to have to get the ball down there and kind of, again, pick the right zones. He had the right zone there. He read the defense perfectly. He read Armed Robbery's defense perfectly there. He's just going to have to get a good ball thrown.
So if you're STUDZ 2 now, how do you what play call do you call at this point in the situation? It looks like they have trips on the right.
I would maybe call a drag underneath. Try to pick on one side with a couple of your receivers. Try to yeah.
So it looks like there was no drag there. Pierre-Olivier throws cross body, and it is caught by Philippe Savard. Dylan Smith was up there but couldn't get the ball there, and Philippe Savard gets the catch. STUDZ 2 retakes the lead, 30-25.
Yeah, that was a very dangerous pass. He threw from the other side.
Like cross
Yeah,
field.
cross body.
Yeah.
As many people might know, that's something you don't want to do. Fortunately, Smith, I'm not sure if he mistimed it or he just maybe
he was just in front of that.
didn't see it. I felt like that should have been a pick, but again, at the end of the day, end up being a touchdown for the STUDZ, and then they're going for 2 here again.
2. You have Mathieu Limoges dropping back. He has all the time in the world. The rusher is not. He's going for the run, and he is not tackled. The 2-point conversion is good. Not tackling by Armed Robbery, and now with the 2-point conversion run by Mathieu Limoges, it's a 7-point lead for STUDZ 2.
Yeah, so that's unfortunately really bad for Armed Robbery. He kind of took off where they had 2 receivers, 2 DBs are able to make a play there, and none of them were able to make a play there. I could understand that some of them were kind of tired, but they have to realize that convert play right there is huge. It makes a difference from being down by 5 or being down by 7. Now Armed Robbery has to drive down the field, score a touchdown, and then either go for a 1-point convert to tie or 2 points to take the lead.
Exactly, and with just under 8 minutes left on the clock, again, you might be tired, but it's championship. You have to play on. Mike Collard takes a snap, looks short, throws it deep to Dylan Smith, who unfortunately maybe couldn't have read the ball. There might have been a bit of hand playing there, but there was no call there, and it was incomplete.
Yeah, so Mike kind of went for a back shoulder to Smith. Smith was more kind of going for a go. He did beat his defender with the go, but he had to the ball was a bit underthrown and it was back shoulder, so he was trying to make it adjust with hands being on him, that where he was not able to make the right adjustment to catch that ball. So we are looking at a 2nd down now, 2nd and 10 for Armed Robbery.
And at this point in the game, do you still try to find it short, or if you see a gap going deep, you go for it?
I think you try to go short. Again, he has about 3 plays to get 10 yards. So if you can maybe get 3 yards, 4 yards, 3 yards, you can have success. But if you end up going deep here, having incomplete.
It looks like he goes short to the center. No, not to the center, but rather, or maybe it was the center. It was George Zergiotis, who was tackled by number 5, Philippe Savard. maybe for 4 or 5 yards.
Yeah, exactly. So again, what I was trying to say is that if you went deep there and was incomplete, you would have a 3rd and 10. That makes it a bit more dangerous and a bit more stressful for your guys. Comparing right now, you're going into a 3rd and 5, so you have 2 plays to get 5 yards compared to having compared to having 2 plays to get 10 yards.
Yep, so Zergiotis is at the center with the ball. Mike Collard is calling for it. Ball is snapped. Throws a short to Zergiotis, who looks like he gets the first with the reach. Tackled by number 17, Alexandre Blanchette, not before the first down is made. Just made it over with the reach.
Yeah, so great play for them. Again, take the easy stuff. You kind of have to realize that you need to score. You're not in a rush. You're only down by 7. Think about getting the easy completions. Time is starting to be against you, but at the end of the day, you have to score, and then you worry about your convert after scoring a touchdown.
Good for, honestly, Mike Collard with that incompletion of Dylan Smith in the first play, getting it short. Now he finds Mike again, who thought he found a hole there with a missed tackle, but Mathieu Limoges with the tackle, I'm thinking maybe of 2 or 3.
Yeah, so that was, at the end of the day, it's still a positive play. You get 2-3 yards. You put some confidence to Mike too. He ends up throwing the ball to Mike. Mike to Mike connection. Get the hands going. You want things to be positive. Every time you have an incomplete, everyone starts kind of coming back to the huddle, frustrating. But at least now you get a nice incomplete pass for 3 yards, and you kind of get some momentum going.
So second down, Collard takes the snap, looking left, throws it to Dylan Smith on a little comeback there, perhaps, and he is not flagged. Touchdown is called for Dylan Smith. Do you go for 1 if you're armed robbery for the tie, or you go for 2?
I think you go for 1 here. They had, again, they're a team that used to go. They're used to going for 1. So you go when you're comfortable. At the end of the day, there's still 4 minutes left. Your defense is gonna have to make a stop. So even if you end up getting the lead, your defense is gonna have to make a stop at the end of the day. So I think you go for 1. You put less pressure on yourself, and it's to the point where studs are gonna have to score because they realize that it's tied. Going for
1, yeah, you're
they're
right.
going for 1 here, yeah.
So Collard has Mike isoed on the right side. Takes a snap, looks left, to number 11. Caught by Julian Pastorero for the 1-point convert to tie the game at 32 at the 4-minute mark of this game.
Yeah, so great play calling by Mike there. I feel like they're sticking what they're used to doing. 1-point convert, tying the game. Now they have to realize that, guys, listen, we have 4 minutes left. Let's try to make a stop here. We're 1 man down, but our defense is still solid. Right now, everyone has to kind of give their 100%.
Yeah, we're under the 4-minute mark. Janina is snapper. Pierre-Olivier takes a snap, throws a short to Sean Rose, who makes the catch, tackled by Pastorero. If you're Studs 2, do you take down the whole clock with pro clock?
No, if I'm studs 2 right now, I'm just trying to score as fast as possible. I don't want something that's unfortunately like tip ball, tip anything. If you could score, you score. It seems like Armed Robbery is a bit kind of tired here, so you kind of want to put the pressure back onto them. Right now, there's kind of like no pressure because it is a tie game, so studs are in control. But I think for them, because they have an extra man on the field, I think they just want to score and then put pressure back on Armed Robbery.
So it looks like they have Philippe Savard in motion. Goes, fakes it, throws it short to Philippe Savard, who doesn't get tackled until Dylan Smith way past the first-yard markage.
Yeah, so again, bad tackle from Armed Robbery right there. I understand that it is kind of confusing. It's misdirection what they have, but you had the tackle there, and instead of making the tackle, you end up missing a tackle, and studs end up getting extra about 8-9 yards, which is actually it's huge at the end of the day. If you're able to kind of slow them down, the time is ticking. It is ticking. We're looking like we're about to be in the 2-minute mark after this play here.
Yeah. It looks like Studs 2 might be actually wanting to take time off the clock with how they've been running up on these very recent plays. So Pierre-Olivier takes a snap, looking left, rolls left a bit, throws it to number 17, and it's caught by Blanchette, and it is tackled by Dylan Smith, just short of the yardage of a first, if I believe. Yes, looks like it's going to be just 1 yard off.
Yeah, so that was very close to being interception there. A millisecond sooner, and I believe that's a pick. So again, but good job from the studs. He was able to sling that ball into his receiver, make the hard catch, get a lot of yards. We're looking at a 2nd and 2, I believe, right? And then I think we're outside the we're in the red zone right now.
Yeah, we're in red zone confirmed, and if they get the first, they'll be probably at the right at the 5.
Yeah, so right now they kind of hold all their cards. They're about 7 yards from the touchdown and 2 yards from a first down, with only 2 minutes left. Not a lot of time left as well. I think you maybe do a quick little hook here, get the first down, and still let the time start running down.
Yeah, it looks like Studs 2 are in no rush to get the snap. Perivier takes a snap, looks quick to Jelena, but I think it was defended by George Zergiotis for the pass deflection there.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I don't think he was even catching that ball with one hand. He literally had one hand in the air when the ball was thrown to him, which is kind of scary and risky as well. Because if that ball doesn't go right into his chest or ends up tipping in the air, that easy could be a interception. If I'm armed robbery here, they're in trips right. I'm not even guarding the snapper.
Yeah, Perivier takes a snap. Looks like it was a few slants there, but defended by George Zergiotis really well for back-to-back pass deflections there.
Yeah, that was a huge job on them. It seems like Studs they're coming in with number 18 to take out the snapper.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they kind of realized that he ends up being useless, and they kind of maybe see that armed robbery is kind of just not guarding him.
Yeah, so Pierre-Olivier, he is tall, and Zergiotis isn't short on by any means, but these past 2 pass deflections, throws it short to Philippe Savard, and it's tackled by Mike for the first down. Clock is going to start running soon, but with the first, I think they're roughly at the 5 or 4 yard line.
Yeah, so the good thing for the Studs there that they only needed about 1 to 2 yards, so they put themselves in a very good situation, being 3rd and 2, where it could have been way worse for them if they got the first down. Before that, it would have been 3rd and about 7, so and without being able to get a first down. So right now they get a fresh set of downs, and we're looking at 1st and goal at the 3 yard line.
Yeah, so it looks like Studs 2 is wanting to take as much time as they can on the clock. So Pierre-Olivier takes a snap, has Blanchette open, throws it to him, and is it caught? Touchdown, Alexandre Blanchette. A short little hook there, through the tight window there. Armed Robbery is now down by 6. Studs 2, looks like they're trying to decide if they're going for 1 or 2. And looks like they're going for 2. Do you agree with that decision? Up by 6.
No, I think you go for 1 here. You go for 1, you put pressure on armed robbery if they do score. Now is the fact, if you don't get this 2-point convert, armed robbery just realizes that they just have to score, then they have the game in their hands. So
yes.
I would have won for 1.
Yeah, so Limoges is back there. Zergiotis is running towards him. And the ball is caught by Pierre-Olivier, and Dylan Smith does make the breakup on Philippe Savard. I wasn't sure if that pass back was on the ground first, but regardless, it was incomplete. Armed Robbery with 1:19 down by 6 with the ball.
Yeah, so they got 1:19 left. It's a lot of time, to be honest with you. I believe they have 2 timeouts too, so they just have to keep doing what they're doing. Take the easy stuff. Take the easy stuff that's given to them. Don't do anything too crazy. 1:19 is a lot of time. It's we're in the 2-minute warning right now, so the time will stop every first down they do get.
Well, quick snap there, passed it to Dylan Smith, who makes one defender miss, and looks like he's going through. Tackled by 79 Pierre-Olivier. A bunch of missed tackles by the Studs. That was definitely not what they needed. The play was already rushed, as it looked like Studs 2 weren't even lined up, and Mike Collard didn't anticipate the snap that quick. But Dylan Smith makes a 3-yard hook into possibly like 30 yards there.
Yeah, so great play for Mike. He kind of realized that the Studs weren't ready. He ends up hurrying up the play. The snap was also a bit low too. He picks it up, throws the ball to Smith. Smith breaks about 3 or 4 tackles, ends up running down the field. For armed robbery right now, because he went out of bounds, the time does stop. So that's really kind of unfortunate for them.
Yeah, Collard passes it to Mike and is quickly tackled by Mathieu Limoges with clock running. It looks like they're at the 5 or 6 yard line, which would mean red zone.
Yeah, so they're in red zone. I believe that was probably maybe a 1 yard pass, maybe not even. But now they're right now they're in a good position, right? They have their 2 timeouts. They have the ball on the 5 yard line. They're looking at second down. They have the ball. They have the game in their hands. All they have to do is make sure they get maybe a few yards here and there for the next play because time is clicking. We're looking maybe at 40 seconds before the snap is gonna be called.
Yeah, Collard takes a snap, looking left, throws it to and it's dropped by Julian Pastoraro, who honestly, if he made that catch, just had to make a little reach there and he would have been in for the end zone.
Yeah, so that's a really bad drop for them. Again, they're still fine, you know. Maybe you call a timeout here, get everyone's heads back in the game. You could risk it. Maybe get Smith to kind of catch his breath. Maybe get a good play calling. Maybe get a good play calling for Mike to call because again you have 31 seconds and you have the game in your hands. All you have to do is score and then get the convert. But you're at the 5 yard line. It didn't seem like they struggled all for this whole game to get a score touchdown. So here we go.
Collard takes a snap, looking right to Mike, and it's almost picked off by Mathieu Limoges. That was dangerous if you were Armed Robbery.
Yeah, that was a dangerous play. He ended up reading it really good, kind of a breaking out. I don't think he goes that direction. I think he should continue going to the left side. I feel like that's a bit of a weaker side, and they don't know exactly what to do as much. So I think he has to go back to the left side. I think maybe the job kind of got him to focus more back on his main target, Mike. But I think you got to go back to the left side and try to work something here. Because, again, now we're looking at fourth and goal at the 5 yard line. So this is pretty much the game right now.
Yeah. So it looks like there's an ISO with Julian Pastoraro on the left. Looks like a flag is thrown. Is it between the rusher or is it between the receiver?
It's going to be offside on the offense. The snapper is able, the rusher is able to go offside and then kind of jump back.
Exactly.
The receivers are not allowed to jump offside. So it's definitely going to be on the offense here.
Yeah. Looks like referees Manny Bizokias and Alexa Diab are confronting with Phoebe to see what would the call be. Because I think initially Manny did throw the flag for the rusher, but I don't think, like you said, that is a flag.
Yeah, that's not a flag though. For the rusher to step forward, that's not a flag. It's only if you pass the line of scrimmage. Yep. It only ends up being a flag is if he goes past the line and doesn't run back to the rusher line. While he's going after the quarterback. So that's going to be a flag on armed robbery. They're going to go 5 yards back. So they're going to end up going 5 yards back. So we're looking at 4th and 10.
4th, 10 and a half.
Yeah. So unfortunately, that sucks for them.
Yeah. So Mike Collard takes a snap, looking right, throws it to the corner to Dylan Smith, and it's incomplete on 4th down. Dylan Smith had not much of a chance really there.
Yeah, so that ball wasn't the best ball. He was trying to sling it in. He was trying to put it somewhere where only his receiver was going to make. He was trying to put it into a spot only his receiver was able to get to, but unfortunately he put it way out of bounds. And I think at this point we're looking at about maybe 22. We have 28 seconds actually left. So Armed Robbery's going to have to use their timeouts here right away.
Yeah. So it looks like Pierre-Olivier, they throw it over top, and it's incomplete by Dimitri Melbach, which, why would you throw that?
Yeah, so that's not good that they made a throw there because this time keeps running now. So now, actually, Armed Robbery does get to use 2 of their timeouts. So if they're smart, they're going to have to send a rush. They didn't send a rush there. They're going to have to send both their rushers. They're going to have to send a rusher and make sure that they do quick deflag and call their timeouts because now they do get an opportunity to get back the ball.
Yeah, that was really a mental mistake by STUDZ too because, one, the incompletion, like you said, stops the clock, and they have 2 timeouts. It's 2nd down now. They have 2 timeouts there. Even on 4th, if they punt it, they still gives Armed Robbery potentially, if they play the clock right, they get a chance.
Yeah, they get a chance. So here the STUDZ are going to have to.
They run it, so Pierre-Olivier avoids it, and he takes a knee with 15 seconds. And the timeout is called by Armed Robbery, their first.
Yeah, so we're looking at 13 seconds, maybe 13 to 15 seconds. So again, if I'm Robbery, I think maybe I send 2 rushers. I try to maybe force them to kind of throw the ball just in case he panics or something, because you kind of want an incomplete pass here. You do want to have, you don't want to give a first down
Yeah.
for sure, but you kind of maybe make him force a pass where you don't even have to kind of waste your timeout.
Yeah, it looks like Zergiotis is going to rush, and Dylan Smith is playing over top him, shadowing the middle of the field. But I don't think that's necessary. I feel like you should be a bit more tight, don't you think?
Yeah, I think you have to be a bit more tight. There's no reason to playing so far back. But again, I think he realizes that they're just trying to kill clock here.
Yeah. So it looks like Zergiotis, Pierre-Olivier does give himself up at the 1. But that's the thing, too. If it's 4th down, if they punt it, it goes to midfield, right?
Yeah, exactly. So if they do punt it, it does go to midfield. So they're going to have to punt. We're looking at 4th down here. So the ball is going to go midfield unless, yeah, they have to punt. They're at the 2-yard line. So we're looking at a punt here because we're looking at 4th down.
So for STUDZ too, if they were able just to manage to get the ball above the 10-yard line, it would have backed Armed Robbery up to the 10, their
Yeah.
own 10. But with that costing mistake, 12 seconds left from midfield.
Yeah, you actually, Armed Robbery is probably going to have about 2 plays here if they know how to use time management. Maybe even 3 if they do some quick outs, depending how the STUDZ run their defense here. But that was a very bad start. I believe they're going a bit too far back. I think they're, oh yeah, it's midfield, yeah. So they made the correction there. That they do get the ball back midfield, but that's a very, if the STUDZ lose this game here, it's going to be unfortunate because that's going to be just a total bust on their team.
So what do you do if you are Armed Robbery at this point? Like you said, roughly 2 plays left, maybe 3 if you're lucky, but you have to get to the end zone.
Yeah, so I would start with a post wheel and my snapper to do it out to kind of see if they're going to respect the deep. If I get a one-on-one with any of my receivers, I'm kind of throwing up a prayer. Just because I'd rather take a one-on-one than a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-1 when it comes to the Hail Mary. So I would run a post wheel then an out to the snapper. So
Collard takes the ball, finds Zergiotis, who is he tackled inbounds? He's tackled out of bounds.
Yeah, so he actually didn't get tackled, but he did get out of bounds. So we're looking at 7.5. About it says 7.5 seconds, 8 seconds here. So we're looking at 2 plays that they're going to get. So I think again, Mike, you do the same exact thing. You do 2 deep routes, 10-year snapper to come underneath. Try to get as close as possible. We're looking right now. I think they're maybe at the 15-yard line. I want to say maybe a bit closer, maybe about the 11 to 12.
Yeah.
So if you can maybe get maybe about 3-4 yards, STUDZ are kind of playing back off their defense. They don't want to get beat over the top, so they're kind of giving everything underneath. But again, for them doing that, it kind of gives Armed Robbery easy completions because one thing people don't realize that 12 to 13 seconds is still a lot of time, especially when the time stops.
Yeah, so Collard is taking the snap. He's looking left right away, going short to Zergiotis, and he is tackled inbounds, which looks like that might be 1 play left for Armed Robbery. Oh, no. The game is called. Armed Robbery loses on a heartbreaker. STUDZ 2 is victorious.
No,
Wait, no.
yeah,
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, so you do get 1 play left just because the time he got tackled when there was 3 seconds left. So it means it's only if you get tackled when there's no time left in the game. So that's how it works. So he got tackled maybe with 3 seconds left in the game, so they do get their last play with 0 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah,
Kinda
I saw FAR official Alexa Diab did have her flag on, so I was like, wait a minute. I felt like it was a bit early, but this gives 1 play left for Mike Collard and Armed Robbery to get into the end zone. It looks like you have Dylan Smith and Mike on the right side. Collard, it's going to deep. It's tipped by Sean Rose at the line. STUDZ 2 finally comes out on top, winning the Division E finals over Armed Robbery with a score of 32-38.
Yeah, so again, that was a huge tip for the STUDZ there. It kind of saved them the game because you never know if that ball ended up getting thrown in the end zone. It would have been a jump ball to either Smith or Mike in the back of the end zone. Who knows what would happen there? So fortunately for the STUDZ, they're able to get out of this the last 30 seconds of the game because they did have the game in their hands. They could also need the game. They could have just need 3 or 4 times and the game would have probably been over. But instead, they throw that incomplete pass. They stop the clock and they give Armed Robbery a chance to win the game.
Yeah, exactly. And that could be a division, like the fact that you're in Division E, so you don't think about just taking those knees and just want to go for the Hail Mary shot.
Yeah.
Where if you just took those knees, you would have won the game. But at the end of the day, STUDZ 2, the number 13 seed, they didn't even get a first round bye. upsets basically everyone out of their second round matchup to reach the finals and plays against a gamed Armed Robbery. Unfortunately, Alex Spina does get injured, which leaves Armed Robbery with 5 players on the field. Whether it's 6v5 or 6v6, that's what happens in the championship, and STUDZ 2 gets to clutch it up for the Division E title.
Yeah, exactly it. At the end of the day, unfortunately, it sucks that Armed Army had a player that got injured, but STUDZ did what they had to do. They did it all. They did it kind of all playoff long. They probably had one of the hardest routes going in as a 13 seed, and they just had upset after upset after upset. They beat every single team by double digits, and then they play a very good Armed Robbery team where at the end of the day, it did come down to those last few plays, and they were able to come out with the win.
And for Armed Robbery, again, a heartbreaker. You lose one of your main players, especially early, and the fact that you rallied towards the whole game, it was very manageable, but unfortunately at the end they weren't able to get the job done. So how do you kind of manage with this for the future with Armed Robbery after a successful season at going 6-4 to the finals?
Yeah, so for Armed Robbery, I think they had a great season. It's unfortunate they did have a guy that went down, but again, they had a great season. I think they're just getting better and better. I think you keep the same roster with each other, and then you just move forward and start coming down other divisions here and there.
So it looks like down Jeff Rosenblatt is ready to hand off the trophy and banner with the MVP to STUDZ 2 for the Division E championship.
All right, we're back on the field with the Division E champs, STUDZ 2. STUDZ 2. Captain Philippe. Voila. Good job. So, quick question. I know we have an injured player here. Yeah. How does it feel to win a championship with some injuries along the lines, but you guys came through in the end?
Ben, ça fait du bien, c'est gagné. Mais tu sais, l'autre équipe était 5, c'est sûr. Mais nous, on a joué avec des blessures aussi de notre bord. Il n'est pas disloqué. Un nouveau QB, c'est sa première année, il a gagné. Il a fait ce qu'il fallait pour gagner, puis c'est ça l'important.
Hey, you heard it here. First time QB winning a championship. Now, l'autre Philippe Savard est où? Viens ici, Philippe. MVP de la match, Philippe Savard. Lots of catches, a few touchdowns. How does it feel to be the MVP?
It might be the first time I caught so many balls in a game. I don't know why. I'm not usually the number one option on the team.
All right, so we have what he says an unlikely MVP, but the STUDZ guys have been in the FPF for a while. They're big winners, great guys. Maybe we're going to see them move up divisions. Who knows, because they have 2 teams. But be on the lookout for the STUDZ crew. We have the 2025 Divi champs right here. Back to you guys in the booth.
So Jeff Rosenblatt just presented STUDZ 2 with the Division E championship to Captain Philippe Jelena, and the MVP being Philippe Savard, who honestly, when you look at the roster, he only came into the game with 7 receptions, 119 yards with 2 touchdowns, and in the playoffs, 3 catches for 32 yards, but in the finals stepped up really big with, I think, 1 or 2 touchdowns at least.
Yeah, so he did a great job. To be honest, he was kind of one of their lead receivers. He's the one that made all the big plays, the big first downs, the big fourth down conversions as well too. I think he also had a huge convert as well to help their team get a couple more extra points. But well deserved. He played a great game.
So unfortunately for Armed Robbery, losing a heartbreaker. So what does this team do in the future? They had a 6-4 successful regular season. Do you see them potentially running it back in maybe Tier 4 or in the winter in like a Division 5 team? Mike Clark really had a good season, especially towards the playoffs with 12 touchdowns before this game with 1 interception. So do you see this team going together and running it back?
Yeah, I think they just have to stay together as a team and start dropping down divisions nice and easy. Right now, they're in Division E. I think the best decision for them would be Tier 4. If they're able to keep the same roster. And then again, Mike's he's a former new quarterback into FPF. So again, he's going to have to kind of get things kind of going again with his team. But this is a team I would like to see back in Tier 4. And again, maybe back at a championship appearance.
Yeah, exactly. Because they have really talented players in like Dylan Smith, Zerkiotis, as well as Mike Badbibabungi. And looking at STUDZ 2, again, this is their second team. STUDZ, the original, is with Philippe Jelena, quarterback in Division D. They lost a heartbreaker in the semifinals in Div D. So where do you see this with Pierre-Olivier playing quarterback with the STUDZ 2 team in the future.
Yeah, so that's kind of gets tricky, right? Because you have a Division D and Division E kind of team, right? Or around that lines, you kind of want to. I guess both guys kind of want to play quarterback, so you're gonna have to have your rosters and stuff kind of say, okay, you guys are gonna play this division, we'll play this division. It gets a bit sticky, but for them as well, I think they should go back to Tier 4. Again, they didn't have the best record. They went 6-4. They did blow out most of those high tier teams into the playoffs, but I think as well, I think they stay in Division 4 and maybe have a better record, go 9-1, and then get back into a champion appearance and also win again.
Yeah, exactly. With Tier 4 coming up, so I'm not sure if Jalina fits the QB cap for it, but I'm sure Pierre-Olivier does, even though he had a really great season with 41 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. So with STUDZ 2, again, if they run it back, again, regardless of who's quarterback, one, you have to kind of be like, you know what, we won the championship. That's kind of what happens, and that's what we deserve. Because, again, at the end of the day, most of these players play on both teams.
Yeah, exactly.
So, again, we are in Brassard. I'm Keon Cyrus, and this is Kwesi Godamal. We have now the 5v5 intermediate finals between still CRA and Les Géants. So that would be an interesting game right now, and we have roughly a few minutes before that game goes on live.
Yeah. So yeah. So that's so we have that's gonna be a very good game for intermediate. We have two powerhouse teams. I believe it's number 1 and 2 seed are gonna play versus each other. So here we have it. We have the STUDZ, our Division E.
Yeah, Division E.
Our Division E championships. Again, congrats to you guys, and hopefully we see you back in Tier 4 next year.
Yeah, and if you're watching at home, again, on Facebook or on the YouTube live stream, or even if you're in the area, we saw flag football happening all the way until kickoff at 10 p.m. tonight. So if you have the time, either watch it on YouTube or on social medias. FPF is going to be posting the finals constantly of which game is being played, as well as we have the finals of the intermediate. But again, come to Brassard if you can.
Thank you.